In beautiful Glasgow, that is hosting COP26, I'm here with Camilla Felling, who is from the European think tank E3G that endeavours to convert climate politics, economics and policy into action. Exactly what we need, Camilla. Thank you for your time to India today.
It's great to be here. Thank you. Thank you, Lavina.
If you may, can I call you Camilla?
Of course.
Thank you. So, Camilla, we just saw so many protests going all around us. There's so much colour, not only in the sky, but on the roads. But what kind of colour or the vibrancy that you feel with what is happening around here in COP26, especially your reaction to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's commitment to 2070 and the 5 elixirs, as he said, came up with?
Yeah. Well, it was great to see Prime Minister Modi here at COP. Not all leaders turned up, so it was fantastic that he made those commitments and came here in Glasgow to say them. The 2070 net zero commitment, it's great that India has set that target, and I think it's encouraging, particularly given the other commitments that he made around renewable energy and carbon intensity, etc.
Yes.
I think it sets India on a sort of clear trajectory for a low carbon future. Obviously there's a lot of work to be done and a lot of money that's needed for that, but it sets a path, and that's the most important thing, even if 2070 is quite a long time in the future, but maybe over time that might be able to ratchet down a bit, but it's encouraging.
It's encouraging. Now that's where the whole buck stops money, isn't it? How encouraged are you with the money commitments from the developed worlds as of now?
Well, I know that there's been a lot of anxiety about the fact that the sort of $100 billion per year has not been met yet, although I understand that it will in a few years' time and will be sort of backdated, if you like. Clearly, we need trillions of dollars to make this kind of energy transition.
Which is what you said, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Trillion.
But I think one of the things that is coming out of this COP, and that the leaders have said very clearly, and it's now up to the sort of negotiating teams to, is that there needs to be a lot more sort of private and public finance, and trying to get those sort of coalitions together to make things happen. And some of the things are happening. I mean, yesterday, for example, there was the announcement about South Africa and its Just Energy Transition Partnership, bringing together a number of countries to sort of help phase down its coal. So it's all possible, but yeah, clearly there's a lot of money needed. But when you get the money, renewable energy is an incredible investment, and at the end of the day is going to save countries that are at the moment paying a lot of money for coal, and renewable energy could be a cheaper option for them in the future.
Perfect. So you sound quite hopeful, not in the lines of Greta's of the world. Not a lot of people are. I think think tanks are kind of between the campaigners, activists and the politicians.
Sure. Well, I am an optimist. I think there's a huge amount of work to be done.
Yes.
But, we are a very innovative species. In India, of course, has got some fantastic innovators. Prime Minister Modi also launched the One Sun.
One sun, one world, one grid.
One grid, absolutely. And yesterday, and that I think will bring in a lot of innovation and technology to improve, the grid systems throughout the world. So there are things that are happening. It's just whether we can make them happen quickly enough and whether we can raise the money quickly enough. But there are some encouraging signs, but I would say there's a lot of work to be done over the next couple of weeks.
Yes, implementation, isn't it? And the funding for it is still a worry, I feel sometimes.
Well, that's absolutely true.
Yes.
But, I think actually meeting people face to face here and actually having those difficult conversations can help.
Oh, brilliant. So you think this COP26 will bear fruits?
It certainly will, and I think it already has, with some of the, for example, there was the global methane pledge that was announced yesterday.
Yes.
India didn't actually sign up to that, and I think it would be great if it did. But, that is really hitting some of the emissions over the future. There was another pledge on low emission steel, for example, so that's really great. Tomorrow at Energy Day, there are going to be a number of announcements. There's going to be a sort of global coal to clean statement that we're hoping countries can sign up to. Again, I'm not sure whether India is going to sign up to that, but there is that sense of commitment and drive, and part of the work that I do is very much about trying to encourage countries to move away from coal and towards clean energy.
Yes.
And there are just sort of incremental bits and pieces that are happening all over the last year and here at COP that are making us feel that coal is a kind of fuel of the past, and the trajectory is towards renewables,
Yes.
and coal is on its way out.
Yeah, I'm sorry, this is my definitely asked question, but it does come back to the same thing of countries like India to move away from coal. It is very important that the developed world does pull up their socks and come up with the funding and commit to a timeline for it. Do you see that happening?
Well, I think people recognise that coal is the biggest cause of emissions, so we've just absolutely got to get coal, out of the system. There have been a lot of things that have been happening. I mean, for example, China has just said it's not going to fund any more overseas coal.
Yeah.
Japan and South Korea have said the same. ADB has launched just today a sort of a mechanism to help some countries retire coal early. So there are these bits and pieces that
Yes.
are consigning coal to history. It's not going to happen overnight, but if we can get countries to sign up to sort of no new coal and at the same time provide support for phasing down coal, we can get there.
Brilliant. That's a brilliant line to end on. Thank you very much, Camilla. Camilla Fenning from E3G European think tank, telling us that if we can commit the world to no new coal and phasing down of the old coal and support them in that process, I think we will be getting somewhere. But she thinks we are already getting somewhere, doing the difficult conversations face to face here at COP26, thanks to the pandemic, or rather the vaccines, that we have been able to do that, and may this continue. Lavina Tandon for India Today from Glasgow, Scotland.